start. Okay, everyone, I'm going to say a good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from, because based on the logins that we've had and based on the signups, we've got people joining us from all across the world. I want to say a big hello to our contingent from Myanmar, because I know we do have plenty of people joining us from Myanmar this time. Okay, so I'm just going to double check the streams and then I'm going to do some introductions and then we'll be ready to get started on what is our second webinar this year for the University of Ostrava, which have some really fantastic options for students who are really keen to study in the Czech Republic, in what is one of the youngest universities in the Czech Republic and also one of the most dynamic institutions that you can apply to across Europe. So all the streams seem to be going well, apart from one, but that's not really the main one, but don't worry about that. Let's just focus on what we've got for now. Okay, so more people are joining in. We did have a very large uptake, which I'm really excited about. And we're going to have a fantastic session today. You're going to learn a lot about the amazing University of Ostrava, about the Clinical Simulation Centre, about the opportunities they give you for scholarships based on your own aptitude and abilities, as well as some of the welcome treats that they've got involved for you this year. I'm going to introduce Professor Skarda, Josef Skarda, who is actually the Vice Dean at the Faculty of Medicine, or Lékařská fakulta, if you want to say it in Czech, at the University of Ostrava. We will be getting joined by one of our students as well. Obviously, she's quite busy at the moment. She'll sign in and come in when sometimes she can. If she needs to put a request, we'll clearly let her do that. But I'm going to talk a little bit first about who we are at Medical Doorway, a little bit about Ostrava, and then I'm going to hand over to Professor Skarda, who's got a fantastic presentation for you about the wonderful facilities on offer in Ostrava. Now, I've been to Ostrava myself a few times. It is the third biggest city in the Czech Republic. It's quite spread out. It's a very dynamic industrial history, so that gives a good feel to the place. There is some fantastic accommodation options there, brand new renovated accommodation, which are like hotels. They are truly spectacular. It also offers one of the best value medical programs that one can get, not just in the Czech Republic or Central Europe, but across Europe generally, especially when you consider the clinical opportunities you will get in what is a very large and dynamic city. So, Professor Skarda joined us previously at some of our events in Dubai and in London, and obviously spoke to students and parents there, and he's here to reach out to you because Ostrava is opening its arms to the world. We've had students from the UK, from Europe. Letitia, who'll be joining us shortly, is from Brazil. And then we've had students and graduates now working in the NHS from the UK and Nigeria. So the university is very much kind of on the forefront in terms of internationalization, and many students from across the world will get that opportunity to apply, whether it be for this year or even next year, and then register at the University of Ostrava. So Joseph, just to let you know that Letitia's struggling to get in, so I'm going to go offline in a minute and I'm going to kind of get her signed in, okay? And then while you do the presentation, I'll make sure she gets the link to register and sign in, okay? So, Professor Skarda, I'm going to hand over to you. I'll go on mute while I just get Letitia in, because the students, when it comes to the Q&A, are going to want to speak to her. For those people in the room here on Zoom, you can use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Type your question in there. All questions will be read out, but you will be anonymized. We're not going to say who you are. You can type it in. We'll read it out so everyone gets to hear the question and, most importantly, the answer to that question as well. I'm also going to keep an eye on the streams on Facebook and YouTube, because sometimes people do ask questions there as well. But no, don't worry, all of your questions will be answered, and we will be finished by 5 p.m. British Summer Time. So within 55 minutes, you'll all be able to go and enjoy the rest of your day or your evening. So Joseph, while I just get Letitia online, I'm going to hand over to you. and let you share your screen and tell us more about the fantastic opportunities available at Ostrava.
Well, thank you very much, Ben. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everybody. It's my honor to share some details about our medical faculty, Ostrava University. It's nice to have you. It's nice to meet you today. So I'm just going to share this brief presentation. And of course, what's more important, I'm open to questions and answers. So I'm going to full screen share it now. So you can see the modern campus of Ostrava. Ostrava is a town in Czech Republic. It's a town in the Moravian Silesian region. It's close to Slovakia, close to Poland, and it's located very, very, very close, even, as I said, to Poland, to Slovakia, and it's located quite close to Brno and to Olomouc. So it's a town of about 270,000 inhabitants, additional outskirts attached to it. So our University of Ostrava is very young. Our Faculty of Medicine is also very young. It started in 1993, and it started because Ostrava needed doctors for emergency medicine. So our faculty hospital, which was a regional hospital originally, is being rapidly developing. We have one program in general medicine, which is taught in English. It's a six-year master study program. We do offer a lot of programs in nursing, midwifery, pediatrics, medical laboratory, physiotherapy, ergotherapy, radiology, nutritional therapy, public health, and dentistry, but these are not in English yet. So what is the structure of our medical program? It's a fully recognized program in the European Union. It's a 6-year, 360 ECTS program. It's a full-time program, studied full-time in English. The tuition fee is 12,000 euros, but we have scholarships for exceptional students. What do I mean an exceptional student? Every student who gets straight A's at a given year from all the exams in that year will be refunded next year 50% of the tuition fee. So basically, the best students will be refunded 6,000 euros from 12,000 euros. What is the curriculum and what is the specification that is ours, and how do we differ from other medical faculties in Czech Republic? The curriculum is comparable to other medical faculties in Czech Republic. First 3 years are theoretical courses like biochemistry, biology, physics, anatomy, histology, physiology, and preclinical courses like pathophysiology, pathology. And of course, preparation of courses for clinical rotation, like propedeutics in surgery and internal medicine. However, we have one difference, and that is that we have the most comprehensive simulation center in Central Europe, which allows our students to prepare for emergency and clinical situations in the simulation center from the beginning of their studies. Now, it's not just the simulation center where people get hands-on clinical simulation experience. We do have a virtual hospital, we do have a telemedical center, and we also do have a possibility to put your hands on emergency medicine in a certain degree from the first year, where you are taught CPR techniques, where you are taught the management of emergency situations already from the third year. In the third and fourth and fifth years courses, these are clinical blocks. What does that mean? A student undertakes, let's say, ophthalmology, and within that block, he has a contact teaching throughout the course. And after this block, he can straight away do the clinical examination. We believe in contact teaching. That's why we take the students, and we believe in student-to-patient approach, where we do our best that each student will get one patient, and there will be one tutor working with the student, with the patient. So we believe on a hands-on clinical experience. This is the reason why we take on students in an amount where we can facilitate this type of teaching. The sixth year is a pre-graduation practical training where students are allowed to a certain extent practice in their country. However, they work at clinics and departments under supervision of mentors and experienced doctors, where we are now basically focusing on practical side of state exams. The state exams are from 5 subjects: surgery, internal diseases, pediatrics, gynecology, obstetrics, and social medicine, or in other words, legislature. So the application is for 80, the fee is 80 euros. You can do the entrance exam from your home. You are overseen by SEO agency. Of course, we are very strict on legal regulations and the exams. Once you pay this fee, you do the exam so far from biology, chemistry, and physics, and everything is on the website. There will be more sample question tests from the previous examination runs so that you know what to prepare for. And additionally, we are now working on preparatory courses for English students, where in the future we will have videos and tutorial courses for you to prepare for the examination. These are the questions outlined from biology, chemistry, and physics. However, the advantage is because not many students come from the same background. So we decided to take in the overall score from all 3 disciplines, biology, chemistry, and physics together. In other words, when someone is weaker in physics and is strong in biology and chemistry, the scores add up and he doesn't have to worry about not passing. So I think that's fair enough, considering that not all of you have the same background. It's the clinical practice that's important, and it's important that all of you get an equal chance. So why to study in University of Ostrava? This simulation center is the second in the Czech Republic, the newest one, and it's the first multidisciplinary simulation center in Central Europe. So basically, from the first year, you are learning how to manage the emergency situation. You are learning the dispatch system of the central ambulance unit. You are learning how to admit the patient to the intensive care unit. And already in the first year, thanks to Simulation Center, you are learning the complexity of surgical internal medicine approaches. Why we do that? Because it has to prepare your thinking for the clinical rotation. So these are the new buildings. This is a new campus. This is biochemistry. This is our dentistry labs. This is anatomy. Everything is taught in hands-on clinical experience. We do have some plastination models, but we do not base our teachings on models. We base them in exact anatomical bodies, and we base them in exact histological slides and autopsy bodies as well. So we do as much clinical teaching as possible. So why to study our medical faculty? You practice in 3 hospitals, in 1 university hospital, which has 1,100 beds, and in 2 private hospitals, where in some of the specializations, our students can experience the atmosphere of the functioning of a private hospital. We have very strong departments like oncology. This is the CyberKnife, special tool for removing the metastases from the brain and from other organs using a radiologic beam. We have very strong neurosurgery departments, oncology departments, and of course, we do maximum from the first phase of your studies to encourage you to go abroad for short-term visits according to your specialization. So in studying abroad, we cover 100% of the estimated expenses with 64 universities from periods ranging from 2 to 12 months. However, what is feasible according to the curriculum, the most feasible are the shorter stays, like 31 days, where you can experience the program and it's still fully covered. So there is also a Dean's competition for exceptional scholarship for international mobility, which is 50,000 Czech crowns. And of course, we have exchange programs of 1 semester studying at a partner university, Asia, Africa, America, and Australia. So that is also, however, offered. However, that takes into account one sacrifice, that within these longer stays, you will have to prolong your study a little bit. But the shorter stays can be combined with the normal studies. We do charity. We go from all the way Tanzania, Kenya, Philippines, Ethiopia, Sumatra, Georgia. You know that the Czech Republic is a politically neutral country where we do have a lot of charity programs in Toliara region, Madagascar, in Malawi. We are focusing on Africa, where we are part of humanitarian aids. These are our students from the Czech program, but the same is offered for English program, where you can actually participate in the clinical hands-on experience under the supervision of our dean and staff, and of course under international protection. So this is a nice experience to have, especially when you want to learn medicine in areas where you will need it. So this is the opportunities. What about living in Ostrava? The accommodation has different levels. This is the most luxurious accommodation. I think it's Jano Pletal's Halls of Residence, which will be under complete reconstruction now. This is the average accommodation, and this is the middle accommodation. Basically, it's 10 to 40 minutes to school and hospital due to public transport. So it's public transport is good. You can get to the hospital and to the university in quite a short time. What about the expenses? So 500 euros per month should cover food, accommodation, transportation, which is actually very good. And these are the prices of a movie ticket, theater tickets, beer, lunch at the restaurants, cafe, and haircuts. So you can see that you can really live well off. You can even rent an apartment if you don't want a dormitory. And actually, really the culture and the atmosphere of the town is very pro-student. There are many theaters, many cafes. These used to be, just for your interest, industrial region of Ostrava, where there used to be coal mines. Now they change it to cultural centers, and they follow the modern trend that they take the old factory, which is rusty, they change it to a cultural center and make it a student town. This is the biggest festival of the popular music, one of the biggest in Europe. It's Colors of Ostrava and Beats for Love music festivals, where all the bands come from all over the world, and they are basically performing there. Many cafeterias, multiple theaters, multiple cultural events in Ostrava, and multiple cuisines, and a peaceful environment, a green environment. If you go take over Ostrava with a balloon, it's very green, and so you can make a lot of tours around. How to get here? Well, from Prague, it's 3 hours from a train. From Vienna, it's 3 hours for a train. From Poland, Katowice, Krakow, and Warsaw, it's 2 to 4 hours by buses and airports. But now we do have our own airport in Ostrava, which is Leoš Janáček International Airport, where you can just pretty much fly to Ostrava, because from Stansted and from Warsaw and from all over the place, if you take a second continuing flight, you can use this airport. It's a modern airport, fully equipped. You can just use it. Tickets are not so expensive when you book them in advance. And what do we want? We have a freshman orientation week for you to be ready. We have a student organization for you to make you ready. And if you decide to study with us, we cover your travel expenses to Ostrava once we make sure that you come with us to study. It's about 800 euros. So we are able to cover that. And we will give you a freshman week, which will not be a formal week. It will be a week how to study, how to accommodate, practical suggestions, practical hints. And these are our graduates. You see, they are very happy. And our goal is to make you happy. Our goal is to make you practical doctors with hands-on experience in a quiet environment, with a limited number of students in the course. So in a class, we want groups of maximum 5 students to 10 students. We guarantee places for 50 students, no more. And that's just the reason that we want to be quality teaching, not quantity. We don't want to have the biggest price. You are getting for decent money, a very good teaching with practical hands-on experience in a nice environment, which is quiet for studying. So this way, I would like to thank you very much for your attention. There's a YouTube video, but there are more videos on the website. And this is my contact, where you can contact me, write to me, whatever you want, you can ask us. And of course, you're welcome to visit the place if you want. I mean, anytime, we'd be very happy to assist you. And I think now it would be very nice to maybe hand over to your questions. And I would like to thank Letizia for joining in, because she's a 6-year medical student. She's now finishing her last state exam. which you know that it's a little bit a challenge, but for her not. She's very good. And so I appreciate her connecting to this webinar. And now the stage is probably hers, and ask questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joseph. And it's great, guys. For those of you that are in the webinar today, please do type in your questions. We have seen a few questions already typed in. So please just carry on typing away your questions. We have plenty of time. We like to try and spend more time at dealing with questions than presentations, because that's where you learn a lot more information. Okay. Letitia is here. I remember Letitia from 6 years ago, one of our Brazilian students who is going to be graduating soon and becoming another doctor from the University of Ostrava. And then we're going to have other graduates. Oh, there she is. And Letitia joined us at our exhibition in London years ago. Hi, Letitia. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. Pleasure. Okay, right. I'm going to deal with a few of the questions first. And then what I would like to say to people is to actually do engage with Letitia when it comes to her part of the questions. We could hear her, we could see her, everything was good. So I think she's just fixing some of her things on her computer, but all was fine. Okay, so a few of the questions, for those that were asking some technical questions about this recording, it is streamed live on our YouTube channel. So it will actually be visible on YouTube from now forward. So if you're a counselor and you've got students who want to see this afterwards, just get them to go to our YouTube channel. Anyone who has signed up for today's webinar who couldn't sign in or hasn't turned up will get a link about probably tomorrow, actually automatically from Zoom, so they can see the recording as well. But as I said, if you do want to refer this to other people, just send them to our YouTube channel, click on live, and it will be there, this one and the last one. Okay. Right, another question, quick one, and then I'm going to hand over to Joseph regarding some of the other questions. Yeah, this does come up quite often. The person has asked, is someone who's completed the IB diploma eligible? The words masters as opposed to bachelors is confusing to me. Don't get too worried about the title masters versus bachelors. In the UK, we have MBBS or MBCHB, which is officially a bachelor's degree. But medical courses in Europe, even though you get admitted directly from high school, are awarded the title master's degree, MUDR, the old Latin title. That's because you actually spend 6 years at university, not 3 or 4 as you would do for a typical European bachelor's. So the title that they give you is a master's degree to recognize that you've spent longer at university. But admission is direct from high school. So if you're taking an IB diploma this year, 2025, you are qualified for admission in 2025 if you want to go in this year. If you do that, I recommend applying on our website now, because after the next exam, of which his deadline has already passed, we only have one more exam for this year, and that's going to be in July, and eligibility will depend on nationality, to be honest. Okay? So if you are going to apply, we'll talk about how to apply at the end of the presentation after the questions are over, but yes, you are eligible. Right. Joseph, if we can go on to the next 2 questions. Yep. Okay. Yep. Someone's asked a bit more about how the scholarship system works and it's merit-based based on your performance at the university. So talk a bit about how students are graded, because it might be different than what they're used to at school.
Okay, so the grading system is A is for excellent, B is for very good, well done, C is for good, D is for decent, E is for something between still, F is for failure. So when we give an A mark, it means that the student is excellent, his performance is excellent, and he's top-notch. 90% and above, in other words. Yeah. That would be equal to 90% and above. I know it is not easy to achieve that, but there are students who achieve it, either from Czech program or from English program. So you must work hard, you achieve that, and how it works. You finish your 3rd year, medical studies, let's say, I'll give an example, and at the end of the year, you have straight A's. So then you enroll into the 4th year, and the admission, of course, after some formal procedure where they select you as an excellent student, will select a scholarship for you, so you will get reimbursed 6,000 euros in the fourth year, which is a great achievement for you because you qualify as an excellent student. Now, as an excellent student, you also qualify for another merit, and that is a scholarship of the dean, which is chosen from Czech and English students. And also you qualify for this prize for the rector, which is another scholarship. So basically, when you prove yourself to be excellent, you are recognized not only by the dean, but if you are excellent and you're doing some extra additional activities, then you will be recognized by the rector. So that's why do we do that? Not only to save your money, but to give recognition for excellence and to give excellent students an opportunity for other merits and to move forward. So we want to prompt you. It's not that we would disregard the very good students or good students, but we just want to lift up excellence. So I think that's a nice merit, and a 50% scholarship, I think, is quite nice.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so this is a typical thing I want to tell everyone about scholarships, especially in the Czech Republic. They are merit-based on performance once you're in the university. Now, I know it can appear tough, but there is also a second kind of award that you can also get. It's called the Red Diploma. The Red Diploma is something given to students who've achieved a very high score across their entire studies. Now, I have seen students get the Red Diploma, and this is quite typical. It's basically like a distinction or they have another phrase for it in US education, valedictorian, for example. But that is awarded, and we do see students getting that. So it is possible if you apply yourself to get that. Okay, right. Okay, I'm going to quickly just go back. I'm going to go back. Sorry, there's a question that's just come in now. When I said about eligibility, that's eligibility for taking the entrance exam based on nationality in relation to the visa process. Okay, it's not about preference over one nationality or another. It's just logistics of getting a visa. So when I say the next entrance exam, it's only going to be eligible for certain nationalities. That's simply because of how the visa processes work in order for you to enroll in Ostrava in this coming September, if you do want admission for this September. So that person asking that's not about preferring nationalities, it's purely about logistics of the visa process, which we do manage for you completely. And for our students for Ostrava who took the exam back in April, were already in the process of applying for their visas. Okay. Letitia, we are going to bring you in a moment, okay? I just want to ensure that we get through the questions in the right order. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's have a go. Right. Yeah. I'm going to bring a couple of questions together. So, Letitia, are you able to put yourself on camera now? There she is. Okay. We're having audio, and are we having some video? Yeah. There she is. We can hear you. Everything's fine.
Can you hear me?
Letitia. We can hear you. Everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. Okay, so someone asked about your experience when you arrived for your first year. I know you've got to think back now 5 or 6 years, and a lot's changed since then. But talk about kind of your initial experience in Ostrava as a city, Czech Republic as a country, when you arrived there as a fresh student.
Yeah. Perfect. So my experience is nice. In the beginning, it was a bit difficult because, you know, I was new to the city. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know the language. So it was very difficult at first. But obviously, like, you're not alone. The university is there to help you, and you're with other people, with your classmates. So that makes the experience more bearable. Are the courses taught in English? Yes, all the courses, the entire course is taught in English. We do have all year, all the way into the last year, they're all taught in English. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, we're struggling a bit with your sound, Letitia. We're struggling a bit with the sound. We're hearing some of it, but not all of it. Is it a problem with your microphone, do you think? while Letitia's just sorting out his sound, because I do want everyone to hear what she has to say, I'll answer some of the other questions. Okay, apologies for that. We'll wait and see how it goes. But someone said after 6 years, you're giving a practicing doctor's degree. Yes, you are. So the way the Czech Republic system works is very typical across the whole of Europe. Your first 2 years are very heavy theoretical. You are doing clinicals, you are doing hands-on experience, as Professor Skada said, but you're largely learning a lot more theory to start off with. Then you'll spend an increasing amount of time in years 3, 4, and 5 in the hospital environment. And then once you're in your 6th year, that's the internship year, where you're spending practically all of your time clinical, and you're taking your mandatory state exams. At the end of that, you have your full medicine degree, you have your license to practice medicine. That license is automatically recognized across the whole of the European Economic Area. It's recognized for the UK, and it's also recognized for taking USMLE or to go through ECFMG, and also for the Canadian licensing exams as well. If you are from the UAE and you qualify from the Czech Republic and you want to go straight back to the UAE, you're exempted then from the first licensing exam, the written licensing exam. You can go straight into the oral. Alternatively, if you did the United States licensing exams, you can then go straight back to the UAE with an exemption to work in Dubai via the DHA recognized pathway. So there are multiple options for you to take your career if perhaps you want to stay within Europe or leave Europe. Okay. We'll try and get Letitia back on online soon when she's got her microphone awarded. Okay. In question of the scholarships, someone's asked about A levels. No, it's based on performance at the university, not before the university. There's a legal requirement about that. I'm afraid we can't give you credit for things you've done outside of the university. Okay, so someone's asked a question about qualifications for eligibility. Right. This is quite a good question because it's a question we often get. The question relates to how are different high school diplomas recognized. Okay. The critical point is there are two systems you have to go through. You have to clear the university entrance exam. That's the first thing. If you clear the university entrance exam, you are selected for the program. The second thing you then have to do is go through a system that we call nostrification. This is a system where your high school diploma is recognized for admission to university in the Czech Republic. Now, we process this for all of our students. We do it directly with the university, but effectively it means you have to have a terminal school level qualification. So if you're coming from the British curriculum, you have to have A levels or one of our A level equivalent qualifications like the BTEC National Diploma. If you're coming, say, from Canada, it depends on your territory or province. So in this particular case, if you were coming from the Ontario system, you'd have to have the Ontario Secondary School Diploma or the Dogwood Diploma from British Columbia, or you'd have to have the equivalent, that 2-year equivalent if you're coming from Quebec, which is after grade 11. If you haven't done one of the British Columbia, New Brunswick or Ontario Secondary School Diploma systems, or if you've qualified from the US with or without APs, as long as your high school qualification enables you to apply to university in the country of origin, that program will clear nostrification in the Czech Republic. So don't worry too much about the grades that you're getting on those qualifications. As long as you're going to graduate from high school, yes, you will be eligible to enroll, provided you pass the university entrance exam. So thank you for that question. It's a really good one, okay, to go through. Okay, we'll talk about how to apply. I'm just going to see if Letitia's back online now. I know she was having some technical problems. Oh, hello. Hello, Letitia. How are we doing? If you unmute yourself.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Got you. That is absolutely perfect.
I'm
Yeah.
so I'm just sorry for the other one.
All right. It's okay. These things happen. Okay. I'm just going to remove your old account, Letitia. Okay. So we haven't got two of you online. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
There we go. We've got you now. So we'll go back to where we started before. I want to repeat the question. It's about when your arrival. I know you arrived with some other students, some were international, some were British as well. So talk a little bit about how you adapted to life in Ostrava and the Czech Republic.
Well, when I first arrived, I thought it was a bit challenging because obviously, like as a new student, I was in my 20s. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know the language. So it felt a bit daunting in the beginning. Obviously, the university helped us with everything. Like whenever we had any doubts, we would email them and they would help us. And it also helps that you are with people that are going through the same thing because you kind of create this special bond between the people that are with you. So it was challenging, but now that I'm graduating, like in a month from now, I can tell you it's worth it. It is worth it 1000%. So
Okay,
yeah,
fantastic. And it's fantastic to see, 6 years later graduating,
yeah,
you university at 18, you come out at 24, you are a very different person and ready to take the world on. There's a
yeah.
couple of other questions for you, Tisha, that we'll stick with, and we'll stay on that
Okay,
track before we do some of the more generic admissions-based stuff.
okay.
One of the questions is about learning Czech, and I'll start this off, is that you do have lessons on how to learn a basic level of Czech, but you're going to get, I would say, people, if you're going to be learning the local language as part of the program, you'll be getting to about B1 level by your year 6. So, Letitia, how has your kind of learning Czech across your 6 years gone for you?
Yeah. So we have Czech. Oh, I don't know if they changed the curriculum, but when I was in the first year, we had Czech from first year up until second year, beginning of third. So that gives you a base to go to the hospital. And the good thing about Czech people is that, some people speak English, so you can talk to the patients in English, especially the younger generation, like my generation, Gen Zs, they all speak English, most of them. So most patients that I had that were my age or a bit younger, they spoke English, so we could talk to them easily. And the older generation, even though they do not speak English, they're very patient. So if you guys are worried about not learning Czech properly and not experiencing the full hospital practice, don't be. They let you use, obviously, because you only learn Czech until like second year. They let you use translator as well, and you can always like use the Google Translator when you're talking to the patient. It does take longer whenever you're talking to them because you have to, if you don't know certain words or if you don't understand certain things, you have to ask them to repeat it. But it gives you a good, like, the check that we learned, because it was like very like focused to like
Yeah.
medical practice. It gives you a good like base, I would say. Obviously, am I like a Czech, do I speak like a Czech person? Absolutely not. I have an accent, I make a lot of grammar mistakes, but it's enough to go to the hospital and it's enough to get like your point across and talk to the patients. Plus the doctors, they speak English, so essentially you're only going to be speaking Czech to the patients mainly. And if you don't know, the professors, they can always help you and they can always translate stuff. So that's
Yeah, and
was
you're always,
my
but this is one
experience.
thing I want to say. You're always fully supervised, obviously, because you've not got an independent license until you've graduated. So you're always fully supervised, and all the clinical tutors are all bilingual. And this is the other thing, is that Ostrava, like many other universities in the region, is a research intensive university, and you'll have opportunities for research, and that research has to be published in English. So all of the people who are involved do actually communicate in English as well as Czech. Okay. Now we're going to carry on, Letitia, with you, and then what I want to do request is that anyone else, if you've got any questions, please do type them in. We do have time for the questions, okay? So don't believe that the questions we don't have time to answer your questions. We certainly do. You're obviously going to be graduating next month. What's your plans? Because the world is at your feet now, really. So what are your plans? Are you going to take some time off? Are you going to work in a particular place? Because I know you think you were living in Spain or Portugal for a while, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm living in Spain, so we have the specialty exam in January, so I'll be sitting that, and after that, I'll just start work. I can start working as a general doctor if I want to, after I graduate, and after I get my diploma and everything. But since I want to specialize, then I'll have to sit an exam for the specialty, like a specific specialty exam, and then after that, I'll just start working. But I mean, with the European diploma, you can work, I mean, anywhere in
Yeah.
Europe, as long as you have the qualifications they ask, which mainly require like a language certification, depending on the country that you want to go to. So I could
Yeah.
try Portugal as well or other countries, but I like Spain, so I'll stay in Spain for now.
And I want to just reiterate the point for everyone listening today. So the qualification itself is going to be directly recognized across Europe. If you do want to go to a particular country in Europe, you do have to have enough language competence to work in that particular area. So if you want to work in the Republic of Ireland or the UK, even though we're not in the EU, the qualification is recognized. You have to obviously speak English and you have to demonstrate your ability to speak English. If you want to work in Spain, you obviously have to demonstrate your ability to speak Spanish, etc. And there are certain language exams you'd have to pass in that particular case, but not a licensing exam for the qualification. Letitia was talking about going through a specialization, which you can do because you are a fully licensed doctor. They do take place in January in Letitia's particular case, but I would advise if you're doing that, you do need to start planning in advance and getting some extra placements in the particular specialization that you're interested in. So we've dealt with that one there. Let's have a quick look. Right. Someone's asked, would it be possible to take a gap year after graduating? Generally speaking, the only reason students take gap years after graduating is if they are planning a licensing exam for a particular country and they're a little bit behind where they need to be. So if you're looking at perhaps going to do your residency in the USA and you haven't got through the steps that are required to do that before you graduate. Some students do electives in that year while they're completing the licensing steps for the US. What you really wouldn't be doing is taking a gap year and doing nothing. That will raise questions about motivation, employers, and it's always generally you're more employable for the better residencies effective if you're already in a post. So we had a student who's working in the States. He hadn't quite completed all the steps. So what he did was in his 1 year, he was doing internships in different departments, building his CV, building his profile at the same time as completing the final steps of his USMLE. That's what I would say to that as someone who's been involved with students for quite a long time. And then about applications. So like Professor Scarda said, you apply on the Medical Doorway website. We are directly funded by the university. So our service is effectively free of charge, okay? You don't pay us any agency fee or anything like that. Letitia will know because we helped her application 6 years ago. And then we will also work with your nostrification and your visa application as well. And we do communicate with embassies. Literally, I've just done 3 or 4 appointments today for our students in the UAE. And then we'll help you prep for the exams. If you want to apply to the university directly, fine, you can do that. I'm not going to stop you, but you're losing out on all that extra support free of charge, which you would get if you apply through Medical Doorway. And you can do that at medicaldoorway.com. It's so easy to apply via our website. Okay, someone's asked about specialization exams and sitting for them. Would you have to have further study, or can you take the knowledge you've already obtained from your time at university? It's a slightly complicated question because it's actually very country dependent. So in the UK, it's different than it would be in Spain. It's certainly very different than it is in the States where you go into a specialist residency. So it really does depend on the country that you want to do your specialization in. If you want to do it in the UK, generally you would do 2 foundation years of general medical practice across hospital departments first, and then specialize, unless you've done significant numbers of internships whilst you've been studying. But it does differ from one country to the next. As Letitia demonstrated, you can do general medicine in Spain straight away, but she wants to go straight from doing her practice as a fully licensed doctor from the Czech Republic into a specialization in Spain. That's the particular pathway that she has taken. Like I said about the applications, it is free. Someone said about the exam fee being deducted. I don't believe that's the case, Joseph. The exam fee is separate from the tuition fee, isn't it? Yeah, so no, the exam fee is literally £80. It's nothing, to be honest. It's a small fee when you compare to some other universities across Europe and in the States especially. It's a relatively small amount of cash. And that's basically to pay for the company that run the online exams, because they're a private company that have proctoring software, etc. It's to pay for that. No one makes, believe me, no one makes any profit from the university or Medical Doorway from your application process. Probably the other way around, actually. Okay. So we've had a good group of questions there. And we've had a very large number of people sign up, both online and via the Zoom system. So what I'm going to ask for now is we're going to give it about another 5 minutes or so for any last minute questions. So if you do have any last minute questions, do get them in now. there's a few things that we'll go over. For those of you that are in the UK or have a passport that doesn't require a visa to go to Europe, you can actually still make an application. And I'm going to show you how to make the application now. So it's very simple. If you go to the Medical Doorway website, medicaldoorway.com, okay, if you want to find out more about the university, you can highlight universities or go over it, and the University of Ostrava is right there. All about the university there, you can still enroll. Our next exam date, which is going to be open now, is the 7th of July. But bear in mind, you will need to have a passport that doesn't require a Type C visa to go to Europe. So UK is fine, US is fine, Australia is fine, Brazil is fine, Canada's fine, any of the European countries. Or if you even do have a passport that needs a visa and you live in the Schengen area, you can still apply as well. So effectively, we're looking at people who live in the Schengen area or have a visa which enables them to travel to the Czech Republic visa-free. You can apply there. If you click the application form button, just click Sit Your Exam Online, and you'll see the university logo is here. You fill in this form, click the University of Ostrava right there, and then put in some information, upload your passport and hit submit. That comes through to us. We will assess your application first, then invoice you for the university's application fee. Once that's paid, you'll be booked in for that exam. Like I said, the next exam is on the 7th of July, the last one for this year that we've had scheduled. All right. It takes no more than 10 minutes to make the application. It's very painless, and then means we can start you on your exam prep. Regarding getting to Ostrava, which Professor Skada said before, most of our British applicants do fly directly in from London. It's very straightforward, but it is a very accessible city to get to. But I would say make your application sooner rather than later so we can start you on your exam prep. The exam is very achievable if you prepare for it and if you've done the basics at high school. It's there to make sure you've got the level of knowledge to make your year one a success, and your year one will then lead to your year two. And eventually, hopefully, you'll be there like Letitia is at your year six, graduating in June, at the end of June, after you've completed your state exams. Okay, so there are no more. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, okay, quick one about the entrance exam. Someone's asked how it's structured. It's 3 papers, multiple choice, biology, chemistry, physics, which is more like applied maths. It's not black hole or astrophysics or anything like that. The score goes together. It's the overall score which matters. And if you achieve the pass mark, which the university will then publish afterwards, you will then receive your unconditional offer to enroll at the university. It's very important that we get that done soon so we can get the paperwork for your visa. Okay, we do have a full free of charge preparation system to help you get ready for the exam. Been very successful, as the students who we've had go on this year have found. And yes, the physics paper is like maths stroke physics. It's all in one paper. Okay, you get a little bit more time for the maths and physics than you do for the biology to allow for calculations and time like that. It's a very manageable exam, but it's all in one section with 1 mark overall for all 3 papers. Okay. Right, we've been going for nearly come to 50 minutes now. Okay, I don't like to go on more than 45 minutes to an hour usually. As there's no more questions coming in now, Joseph, if there's anything else you want to share with the people who are online, we've got people actually on YouTube here as well as on Zoom. Is there anything else you want to share before we sign off?
Thank you very much for your interest. We are ready to assist you. If you want to come visit the place, you're very welcome. If you want to give me any questions, think it over, just go ahead, write to us. We'd be honored to basically answer, and we'd love to see you in Ostrava.
For those of you that are in the UK, Europe, or the UAE, or the Middle East, who are looking at admission in 2026, the University of Ostrava will be at both of our events. The first event is in Dubai, at James Wellington Academy Silicon Oasis on the 8th of November. Details are on our website. The second event at the Royal Society of Medicine in London is on the 29th of November. You can see records of both our last events on our YouTube channel. but we'd be delighted to see you and your parents there, to meet the university in person, ask those questions perhaps on a one-to-one with Professor Scarda and the students who attend with him. Until then, please do have a successful rest of the academic year, a pleasant summer, and hopefully we'll see some of you at our events, the upcoming exam, and future students at the University of Ostrava in the fantastic Czech Republic. So thank you to Letitia. Letitia, congratulations for getting through. I hope you and your parents are looking forward to your graduation ceremony next month.
Thank you so much.
Your parents. It's been 6 years since I saw them. And thank you to everyone who's signed in for today, students, college counsellors. And until next time, this is Medical Doorway signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.